All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate rejuvenated and transformed Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi today. Prime Minister says guaranteed time-bound deposit insurance payment of up to 5 lakh rupees to cover almost 98% of depositors' accounts. National helpline against atrocities on scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to be launched today. Nation pays homage to martyrs of 2001 Parliament terror attack. G7 nations warn Russia of massive consequences if Ukraine is invaded. India's Chandeep Singh bags silver medal at Para World Taekwondo Championships in Istanbul. And Indian cricket team to undergo 3-day quarantine before flying to South Africa. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause of concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since the 16th of August and will continue till the 15th of August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. And now, coming to our 35th question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. The question is, who was the leading defence counsel in the Red Fort trials conducted by the British against the INA officers Major General Shahnawaz Khan, Colonel Prem Sehgal and Colonel Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon? To repeat the question, who was the leading defence counsel in the Red Fort trials conducted by the British against the INA officers Major General Shahnawaz Khan, Colonel Prem Sehgal and Colonel Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon? Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262, that is 8826546262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. To repeat, Amrit Mahotsav quiz @prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh from today, where he will inaugurate the rejuvenated and transformed Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham. Mr. Modi will visit Kashi Vishwanath Temple at around 1 p.m. and offer prayers, after which he will inaugurate Phase 1 of Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham.
हर हर महादेव शंभो काशी विश्वनाथ गंगे हर हर भूतनाथ शंभो काशी विश्वनाथ गंगे हर हर वैद्यनाथ शंभो काशी विश्वनाथ गंगे.
The entire event will be streamed live across the country. Over 3,000 saints and dignitaries will participate in the event. In a tweet, the Prime Minister has called this day a landmark day and urged everyone to join the program. Mr. Modi will also visit Kal Bhairav temple at around 12 noon today and witness Ganga Aarti while on board a ro-ro vessel at around 6 p.m. The phase 1 of Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham has been constructed at a cost of around 339 crore rupees. The project is spread over a massive area of 5 lakh square feet, whereas the earlier premises were limited to just around 3,000 square feet. We have more from our correspondent.
Kashi Vishwanath Dham has been developed under the supervision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of Kashi Vishwanath Dham in March 2019.
ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि आज काशी विश्वनाथ धाम जिस सपनों को लंबे अरसे से मन में संजोया हुआ था, जब मैं राजनीति में नहीं था तब भी जब यहाँ आता था, कई बार आया, लेकिन लग रहा था कि हाँ कुछ करना चाहिए, होना चाहिए, लेकिन पता नहीं शायद भोले बाबा ने तय किया होगा कि बेटे बातें बहुत करते हो, आओ इधर करके दिखाओ, और शायद भोले बाबा का आदेश कहो, आशीर्वाद कहो.
The project is designed to provide direct connect of Ganga Ghats to the Kashi Vishwanath temple. The project is spread across an area of about 5 lakh square feet. A total of 23 buildings will be inaugurated in the phase 1 of the project. A variety of facilities including Yatri Subhidha Kendras, Tourist Facilitation Center, Vedic Kendra, City Museum, Viewing Gallery, Food Court, etc. will be available for the pilgrims visiting Kashi Vishwanath temple. The project is designed to provide easy access for the disabled and old age people with provision of ramps, escalators and other facilities. Aditya Shukla, AIR News, Varanasi.
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur said that the inauguration of Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham will help in promoting tourism and local products.
एक बार फिर खड़ी हुई काशी, दिव्य काशी, भव्य काशी, जिसकी कल्पना माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने की थी कि काशी विश्वनाथ कॉरिडोर को बनाकर समर्पित करेंगे। संकल्प से सिद्धि का ये दौर आपके सामने मात्र 5 वर्षों में पूरा हुआ। जो 250 साल तक कोई नहीं कर पाए वो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने करके दिखाया है, और मुझे प्रसन्नता इस बात की है। इससे बनारस में जहाँ एक और रिलीजियस टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा मिलेगा, टूरिज्म का एक बहुत बढ़ावा यहाँ पर होगा, लाखों लोग श्रद्धा के केंद्र में आएंगे। वहीं पर यहाँ के जो लोकल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उनको भी दुनिया भर में दिखाने का अवसर मिलेगा।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has described the day as the day of pride for Indian culture as the Prime Minister will inaugurate Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi. Yogi Adityanath said, under the guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Kashi Vishwanath temple is regaining its cultural and spiritual glory. The Chief Minister said Kashi is ready to welcome the Prime Minister and all other dignitaries.
एक अनुपम और दुर्लभ क्षण काशीवासियों को पूरे देश से पधारे पूज्य संतों की उपस्थिति में पूरे देश और दुनिया के श्रद्धालुजनों को देखने सुनने को प्राप्त होगा। पूरा काशी अपने लोकप्रिय सांसद और देश के लोकप्रिय प्रधानमंत्री जी के स्वागत के लिए उतावला है, आनंदित है। ये कभी आनंद कानन हुआ करता था, आज हर एक काशीवासी इस आनंद कानन का अनुभव काशी विश्वनाथ धाम के माध्यम से कर रहा है और ये धाम बनकर के तैयार हो चुका है। ये हम सबका सौभाग्य है। ये काशी विश्वनाथ धाम को देखने और उस पूरी परिकल्पना को साकार होते हुए हम सभी देख पा रहे हैं, और हम सब आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, पूज्य संतों का, आगंतुक अन्य सभी अतिथियों का स्वागत करने के लिए यहाँ पर पूरी तरह तैयार है।
Tomorrow the main event will be held at Swarved Mahamandir, where the Prime Minister will attend the 98th anniversary celebrations of Sadguru Sadafaldeo Vihan Gam Yog at around 3:30 p.m. The Prime Minister will also participate in a conclave of Chief Ministers of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, along with Deputy CMs from Bihar and Nagaland. The conclave will provide an opportunity to share governance-related best practices and is in line with the Prime Minister's vision of furthering Team India spirit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said more than 1 lakh depositors have got their money back in the past few days that were stuck for years, amounting to over 1,300 crore rupees. Mr. Modi was addressing a function on Depositors First, guaranteed time-bound deposit insurance payment up to 5 lakh rupees in New Delhi yesterday. The Prime Minister stressed that the spirit of Depositors First is very meaningful.
देश के लिए, बैंकिंग सेक्टर के लिए और देश के करोड़ों बैंक अकाउंट होल्डर्स के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण दिन है। बीते कुछ दिनों में 1 लाख से ज्यादा डिपोजिटर्स को बरसों से फंसा हुआ उनका पैसा उनके खाते में जमा हो गया है, और ये राशि करीब करीब 1300 करोड़ रुपए से भी ज्यादा है। आज 3 लाख और ऐसे डिपॉजिटर्स को बैंकों में फंसा उनका पैसा उनके खाते में जमा होने वाला है, पैसा उनको मिलने वाला है।
The Prime Minister said any country can prevent the problems from getting worse only by timely resolution of them. He pointed out that earlier there was a tendency to avoid problems, but today's new India strives for resolving problems and does not avoid them. Mr. Modi informed that in India the system of insurance for bank depositors came into being in the 1960s. Earlier, out of the amount deposited in the bank, only the amount up to 50,000 rupees was guaranteed, which was later raised to 1 lakh rupees. He said there was no time limit on when this money would be paid. A national helpline against atrocities on scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes is to be launched today. The Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry will launch the helpline with the aim to ensure proper implementation of the Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, which was enacted with a view to preventing atrocities on members of SCs and STs. The helpline will be available round the clock on toll-free number 14566.
Over 132 crore 93 lakh doses of COVID vaccine have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. In the last 24 hours, more than 89 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the country. During the same period, 8,464 COVID patients recovered. The recovery rate stands at 98.36%. The country reported 7,774 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours.
Kerala reported its first case of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. A person in Kochi was found to be infected with the variant. He came from the UK through Abu Dhabi on an Etihad Airways flight on the 6th of this month. In Bihar, the number of COVID cases continues to rise in the state, with 23 people testing positive for the virus in the previous 24 hours. The number of active cases in the state increased to 82. The recovery rate in the state stood at 98.32%.
The News Services Division brings glimpses of the year that was in our special Year-Ender series. Today we take a look at how India emerged as Atmanirbhar, or self-reliant, in the midst of the COVID pandemic. On 12th May last year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced a 20 lakh crore special comprehensive economic package to fight the COVID-19 pandemic in India. He gave a clarion call for Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, or a self-reliant India movement.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ये भव्य इमारत 5 पिलर्स पर खड़ी हो। पहला पिलर इकोनॉमी, एक ऐसी इकोनॉमी जो इंक्रीमेंटल चेंज नहीं बल्कि क्वांटम जंप लाए। दूसरा पिलर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एक ऐसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो आधुनिक भारत की पहचान बने। तीसरा पिलर हमारी सिस्टम, एक ऐसा सिस्टम जो बीती शताब्दी की रीति नीति नहीं बल्कि 21वीं सदी के सपनों को साकार करने वाली टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन व्यवस्थाओं पर आधारित। चौथा पिलर हमारी डेमोग्राफी, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी में हमारी वाइब्रेंट डेमोग्राफी हमारी ताकत है। आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए हमारी ऊर्जा का स्रोत है। पांचवा पिलर डिमांड, हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था में डिमांड और सप्लाई चेन का जो चक्र है, जो ताकत है, उसे पूरी क्षमता से इस्तेमाल किए जाने की जरूरत।
The Atmanirbhar Bharat Package 2.0 was announced on the 12th of October and Atmanirbhar Bharat Package 3.0 on the 12th of November last year. We have more from our correspondent.
India's spirit of self-reliance is evident from the fact that from zero production of personal protection equipment kits before March last year, country today has capacity to produce over 5 lakh PPE kits daily. From just one lab at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, nation now has over 3,000 testing labs in the country. Government worked round the clock to boost production and supply of essentials such as N95 masks, medicines and made-in-India ventilators. India also achieved self-reliance in vaccine manufacturing, which helped India to undertake world's largest vaccination drive smoothly. With Anand Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate rejuvenated and transformed Sri Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi today. Prime Minister says guaranteed time-bound deposit insurance payment up to 5 lakh rupees to cover almost 98% of depositors' accounts. National helpline against atrocities on scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to be launched today. Nation pays homage to martyrs of 2001 Parliament terror attack. G7 nations warn Russia of massive consequences if Ukraine is invaded. India's Chandeep Singh bags silver medal at the Para-World Taekwondo Championships in Istanbul, and Indian cricket team to undergo 3-day quarantine before flying to South Africa. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास। तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
The nation pays homage to the brave hearts who sacrificed their lives to valiantly defend the Parliament against a dastardly terror attack on this day in 2001. At a tribute program in the Parliament House premises, dignitaries will pay floral tributes to the martyrs. Here is a report.
On this day, 20 years ago in 2001, 5 heavily armed terrorists stormed the Parliament complex and opened fire indiscriminately. The attack lasted for about 30 minutes and all the 5 terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed were neutralized outside the building itself. 2 persons from the Parliament Security Service of the Rajya Sabha, Jagdish Prasad Yadav and Mahatpar Singh Negi, 5 Delhi police personnel, Nanak Chand, Rampal, Om Prakash, Vijender Singh and Ghansham, and a women constable of the Central Reserve Police Force, Kamlesh Kumari, laid down their lives while preventing entry of terrorists inside the building. A gardener of CPWD, Deshraj, also lost his life in the attack on the Temple of Democracy. A journalist, Vikram Bisht, who sustained injuries, died later. About 100 members of Parliament were present in the building during the horrific incident. Anupam Mish, AIR News.
President Ram Nath Kovind today paid homage to the brave security personnel who laid down their lives on this day in 2001, defending the Parliament of the world's largest democracy against a dastardly terrorist attack. In a tweet, Mr. Kovind said the nation shall forever remain grateful to them for their supreme sacrifice. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today paid tributes to the martyrs of the 2001 Parliament terrorist attack. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, the nation is eternally indebted to them for their supreme sacrifice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tributes to all those security personnel who were martyred in the line of duty during the Parliament attack in 2001. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, their service to the nation and supreme sacrifice continues to inspire every citizen.
The Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Amendment Bill 2021 for discussion today. The Rajya Sabha is scheduled to take up the High Court and Supreme Court judges' salaries and conditions of service Amendment Bill 2021 for discussion today.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
This Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve.
The Objectives Resolution 1946 was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th of December 1946.
Proclaim India as an independent, sovereign republic and to draw up for her future governance a constitution.
This resolution was a reflection of aspirations of makers of the Constitution and was later framed as the preamble of the Indian Constitution. The Assembly extensively debated the resolution between 16th and 19th of December. The resolution was again taken up for discussion on the 21st of January 1947. During these deliberations, the Assembly discussed various aspects of the Objectives Resolution and the political context that surrounded it, including the absence of princely states, federalism, minority rights, and socio-economic rights.
Finally, on the 22nd of January 1947, after due deliberations, discussions, and responses to various debates, the President of the Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, signalled to the members that the time had come to vote on the resolution. He read out the resolution, first in English, then in Hindi. Shri Mohanlal Saxena read out the Urdu translation. Members of the Assembly then voted in favour of the resolution and adopted it with all members standing.
The purpose of the resolution was to imagine a future direction of the Republic of India. The Constitution was made by a few people, but it was the Constitution of every Indian.
We, the people of India.
The very first sentence of the preamble, "We, the people of India," tells a story about the efforts of the makers of the Constitution to capture the aspirations of all Indians. And this story, which was started by this resolution, later became the world-famous preamble of the Constitution of India. Today we also remember noted Gandhian, freedom fighter and former bureaucrat Lakshmi Chand Jain, who was born on 13th of December 1925 in Rajasthan. While in his youth, Lakshmi Chand took part in the Quit India movement during 1942.
Later, in 1947, he was put in charge of the Kingsway camp in North Delhi, which was a shelter for displaced persons. He helped introduce cooperative societies for farming and cottage industries into rehabilitation camps.
The bureaucracy and served as a member of the Planning Commission, as Indian High Commissioner to South Africa, as a member of the World Commission on Dance, and as Secretary of the Indian Cooperative Union and the All India Handicrafts Board. Jain was one of the earliest cooperative leaders in the country and helped Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay organize the Indian Cooperative Union. For his selfless commitment to attack India's poverty at the grassroots levels, Lakshmi Chand Jain was awarded the Magsaysay Award in 1988. In 2011, he was chosen posthumously for Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India, but the family declined to accept the award since he had been against the concept of state honours.
He died on the 14th of November 2010 in New Delhi. We salute this great Indian and his love for the motherland.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404, issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak, Jago.
The Group of Seven Nations has warned that Russia will have to face massive consequences and pay severe costs if President Vladimir Putin attacks Ukraine. The G7 Foreign Ministers meeting was held in the northern English city of Liverpool. During the meeting that concluded yesterday, the G7 delegates unitedly condemned Russia's military build-up near Ukraine and called upon Moscow to de-escalate.
Para-athlete Shandeep Singh has created history by clinching a silver medal in the men's plus 80 kilogram event at the 9th Para-World Taekwondo Championships at Istanbul in Turkey yesterday. This is India's first ever medal in the history of Para-Taekwondo's World Championship. In badminton, ace Indian shuttler Kidambi Srinath began his 2021 BWF World Championships campaign with a win over Pablo Abian of Spain on the opening day of the competition in Huelva, Spain today. India's Lakshya Sen also advanced to the second round after getting a walkover from Max Weiserkursen of Germany.
The Indian cricket team will undergo a 3-day quarantine in Mumbai before flying to Johannesburg, South Africa on Wednesday by a chartered flight. Members of the South Africa-bound squad have been asked to check into a 5-star hotel near the Mumbai International Airport to fulfill the biosecurity protocols. India will play 3 tests and 3 ODIs, but at this point only the members of the test squad will fly to the Rainbow Nation.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night. Temperature will hover between -3 and 13 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 8 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 23. Leh is likely to witness mainly clear sky. The minimum and maximum temperatures will hover between -12 and 4 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The national capital Delhi will have shallow fog. The temperature will vary between 8 and 24 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. Chennai is expected to witness generally cloudy sky with moderate rain, and Kolkata will have mainly clear sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. First cases in Kerala, Chandigarh, Andhra. Omicron tally 38, reports the Hindustan Times. The Tribune quotes experts as calling for a call on booster dose. The Indian Express headlines, if given booster must be different vaccine, view in top expert body. The Times of India informs that India's weekly COVID cases have dipped to the lowest number in 19 months. Firms re-evaluating return to office plans amid uncertainty over Omicron, reports Financial Express. 1971 celebrations begin with General Rawat's last message recorded the evening before his death in a helicopter crash on the 8th of December, writes the Hindustan Times. The Asian Age headlines the quote by Rajnath Singh, partition based on religion, a historic mistake. And finally, at 6.4 degrees Celsius, Delhi records lowest temperature of the season, writes the Asian Age.
A reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. The question is, who was the leading defence counsel in the Red Fort trials conducted by the British against the INA officers, Major General Shahnawaz Khan, Colonel Prem Sehgal and Colonel Gurbakhsh Singh Dhillon? That is, who was the leading defence counsel in the Red Fort trials conducted by the British against the INA officers, Major General Shahnawaz Khan, Colonel Prem Sehgal and Colonel Gurbakhsh Singh Dhillon? WhatsApp your response to 8826546262, 8826546262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in, amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav Quiz with AIR News. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate rejuvenated and transformed Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi today. Prime Minister says guaranteed time-bound deposit insurance payment of up to 5 lakh rupees to cover almost 98% of depositors' accounts. National helpline against atrocities on scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to be launched today. Nation pays homage to martyrs of 2001 Parliament terror attack. G7 nations warn Russia of massive consequences if Ukraine is invaded. India's Chandeep Singh bags silver medal at Para World Taekwondo Championships in Istanbul. And Indian cricket team to undergo 3-day quarantine before flying to South Africa. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.